49er fans? We are back with another film breakdown. This time we are looking at the 49ers offense versus the Rams. There has been a lot of conversations about the performance, specifically the offense, specifically Brock Purdy. Is it good? Should we be worried? Is it bad? Well, trying to make sense of it, right? Obviously, how the right side of the offensive line look? How did the boys look against the Rams? Now we understand what it is. It is a W. So anytime you get a W, that's a good spot to be in. 49ers are now 2-0 as they start their year, and we are going to break down the tape of the 49ers offensive performance against the Rams. We're going to look at Brock, the good, the bad, and everything in between. So you already know what to do. Smash that like button if you haven't already. Drop a SDS in the chat. Let's get into it. Smash that like button if you haven't already. Love to see it. Well, first of all, before we get started on the film breakdown, we'll get started here pretty quickly, but I do want to say what's good to all the SDS. I didn't see you guys after the game. I didn't do a live reaction to the game because I hopped in my car straight from Levi South, came back to the Bay. So we're here, we're back, and we're ready to break down the film. So I'm tired, but that doesn't mean we aren't going to have a great film breakdown. And honestly, kind of getting through the film, I finally got through it all today. And, for the offense at least, if this is the floor for Brock Purdy, 49ers is going to be okay. Now, obviously, there was some missed shots deep that has been heavily discussed. There's some other situations that have gone down. We're going to break it down. We'll watch it. We'll talk about, is it a big deal? Is it not a big deal? All that type of stuff. But ultimately, one of my big takeaways coming away from this was, if that's the floor for Brock, then I think we're going to be okay. Really. I think we're going to be all right. So I thought about it. I thought about doing the stream while driving, and I was like, you know what? I'm not going to do a stream while driving, but I did think about it. Definitely did think about it. But I do think it is time to get into the tape because we did get a lot of good stuff. There are some, do I want to call them a concern? We got some stuff to keep an eye on. I think, in particularly that right side of the offensive line. I think Colton McKivitz played way better than he did against the Steelers. But Burford, I think we got to pick it up a little bit. But we'll hop into it and we'll break it all down. Overall, not bad on the day, and a win is a win, right? So a win is a win, and we'll be able to get into it all right now. So starting off, we're going to start a minute into this thing. This one starts off with a very quality catch by Mr. Kittle himself. This, to me, if I'm going to nitpick, is a throw that's a little bit behind. Ideally, in this scenario, throwing outside the numbers, I kind of want to put this on the outside shoulder away from the defensive back. But credit to George Kittle. Phenomenal job coming back and getting his hands on this football. Really nice. I mean, you can see the effort. He had to stop his momentum, turn back around, and brace for the hit. So that's a really good job by George Kittle right there to bring that in. Again, if you look right here, Ideally, you get this on the upfield shoulder, puts it on the back shoulder. That's a nitpick. Still a completion. San Francisco 49ers get a couple yards on the play. This one, I've been really impressed with Jake Brendel. I do feel like I'm starting to see that, Jake Brendel's first year as a starter was last year, right? I feel like I'm starting to see a little bit of an improvement. I think, as expected, he was going to get better with another full year as the starter. And I think he has. This is going to be a great example of Jake Brendel picking up Aaron Donald's stunt, not biting. Look at good job, Brendel, my ginger brother. I've been really happy with Jake Brendel these last 2 weeks. I feel like Jake is playing phenomenally. I mean, look at this. He gets the pass off 95. The whole design is to get Jake Brendel to bite, but you can see Brendel peels on Aaron Donald and then pushes Donald out of the pocket. Okay. Okay, Brendel. Great job. Great job. And then Burford. Hey, good job by Burford. He's there. Gets tossed a little bit, but he's in the right spot. It's a good job. And, Purdy doesn't like it, dips out. I'm fine with it. This is underrated quality throw. What does it travel 12 air yards? But again, Brock Purdy on the move. Linebacker vacates the zone. Brock goes across his body to Christian McCaffrey, who sits it down in the zone and gets it right to him. That's pretty nice. I like this. That's one of the underrated things that Brock Purdy does. And again, we don't try to compare Brock to Jimmy. It just happens naturally because we watched so much Jimmy Garoppolo, especially on this channel. We did a ton of film breakdowns on Jimmy Garoppolo, so it's an easy reference. We were never seeing Jimmy do this. And this is no disrespect to Jim. Jim won a lot of football games for the 49ers, but when it came to stuff kind of breaking down, that was kind of the end for the most part. Like, you're not seeing Jim come across his body to CMC. So these are like the small things that, again, are appreciated from Brock. When things break down, he has an ability to keep his eyes downfield. Again, CMC does a really good job of sitting it down in the soft spot in the zone. Brock finds him, gets it to him. This next play, I got a Kittle pancake. Kittle was in his bag blocking. I like what Kittle was doing today. Got Kittle at the top of the screen. Yeah, that's right, Kittle. And you got the little flex on him at the end. Kittle's in his bag. You see Kittle on your right side of the screen. It's basically a double concept. He's taking over the block for Trent. Trent's going to go to backer. Kittle just tosses, dude. I got a couple Kittle highlights from a blocking standpoint. Feel like it's been a while that we had multiple Kittle highlights as a blocker. Whoo, sit him down, Kittle. Great job. Sit him. Obviously the play wasn't ultra successful. This is how I look at it. With Aaron Banks, he's taken a sharp step down. He's trying to block down because this is a power concept. But he also is. Well, it's actually not a power concept. He is trying to peel to backer, but as you can see, as he's stepping down, the backer is flowing with Kyle Juszczyk. So as a result, it puts him out of position. So the backer's keyed on Juice. Banks is already stepping down. and I think he puts a little too much. If he peeled right here, like once that nose tackle shoots to the other side of Brendel, peel here. I don't think you need that punch. And then it's just a combination. I really don't think it's that bad of a play on Banks. I think it's more of I think it's just more of the circumstances of the play, of the flow of the linebacker. King on juice took a little bit too, I would say just a little one step too much. It's not a big deal. That's so correctable. It's not even funny. Um, so I don't trip on stuff like that because you can fix that. That takes one meeting, takes one point of emphasis. Got it, noted, move on. That's not a fatal flaw by any stretch of the imagination. So we're all good there. I'm not worried about that one with Banks. No, this isn't the one where Ayuk gets hurt, but let's see what we got here. 4-man pressure. Keep a tight end in for a little chippy on 97 with Warner. Brock. Brock is really good outside the numbers. He's really accurate for the most part. Obviously, we saw the one to Kittle is kind of like a back shoulder, but I mean, that couldn't be any more on point. These are difficult throws because if you don't throw this with enough zip, you don't throw this with good enough timing, it's really easy for these cornerbacks to drive on the ball and undercut these. So you have to be on point with your timing. You have to be on point with your velocity and accuracy. It's a very accurate football. Great catch by Ayuk to bring it in. Trying to fight for a little bit more, gets the first down. Let's take a look at the protection up front. You got Banks and Brendel manage Aaron Donald pretty easily. On the backside, you've got this is a really good job by Burford and McKivitz. You're going to get a loop. Burford handles it. McKivitz, this is what we're looking for how you are trying to pass off a stunt. 91's entire job is to get Burford to bite and miss this looper. So this is a great job by both. Burford passes off to McKivitz. McKivitz takes over. You can see how he redirects his hips. And then Burford peels, picks up the looper, clean pocket. Brock Purdy does the rest. I like that one. That's a good one. That was a good one. This next play is one of my favorite Brock plays that we got coming up. You got one of my favorite Brock plays. I think we're on it. Yeah, this is it. I like this one because it wasn't perfect. I like this one because Brock had to manage this. This timing wasn't right on this because Ayuk gets held. And so as you can see, let's focus on Ayuk at the top of the screen. So 37 gets hands on Ayuk really quickly. And Ayuk is trying to fight back and cut inside. So as Ayuk is trying to fight back and cut inside, 37 gets his hand on his back and grabs his jersey. And so it messes up the timing of the route because of this contact, Ayuk has to fight through it. And that forces Brock to pause because ideally, when Brock hits his back foot, he wants to let this thing rip right about now. But what you're going to see is as we focus on Ayuk fight through the contact, undercut, get held. This is defensive holding that was not called, and create the right leverage. Brock is waiting. Brock has to literally pause. And this is the one that BA got hurt. But watch Brock in the pocket. Watch his process. When that hand comes off the ball, that right there is when he wants to throw. But watch him wait. You see that? He has to wait and gets it. And look at how close Aaron Donald is to hitting that ball. Whoo! That's close. That is close. I mean, Brock literally waited the longest he could and delivers a strike, by the way. A dime. Absolute dime. That's a good ball. Considering the circumstances, considering the timing of the play was disrupted, having to pause, that's a dart. And I really don't mind this from McKivitz. You're going to have Jawan Jennings. Basically, you're going to get a chip on Aaron Donald. This one step is a correction from last week. This kick step. That kick step by Colton McKivitz is a correction from last week that we talked about. I talked about I didn't like his footwork on pass sets because he was taking a widened pass set. It was forcing him to open up his gate, and he was getting beat to the spot. That's one thing that we identified last week with Colton. He fixed it. What did he say what did he talk about in the locker room last week? Some easy fixes that he needed to correct. Using the proper footwork helps. So you can see that more of a vertical, more of a violent kick step instead of a widened kick step. It matters. It's the same thing that we talked about because that puts him in the right spot. So he opens up pretty soon. And the next thing that Colton corrected was, remember how we were talking about how he's just leaving his hands out here to just get chopped? Like when you got your hands out here as an offensive lineman, it's like an invitation for them to initiate their pass rush move, right? And that's what was happening. TJ Watt was seeing those hands hanging out there like big loaves of bread, and he's like, "Ooh, I'm hungry," and we'll just chop them down. Well, look at the correction from Colton McKivitz. Watch the right hand and watch what Aaron Donald tries to do. Aaron goes for the chop. He tried to slap it. And this is the adjustment. McKivitz changes the hands and readjusts. Beautiful. 2 easy fixes in technique from last week to this week. These were 2 things that we identified that he wasn't doing good enough, and he fixed them. And you can see. So I don't mind this. Like, I think this is fine. The ball should have been gone, right? That's the other thing you have to keep in mind. The timing of the play, ball should have been gone, probably about right there. So ball should have been out about right here. But again, because Purdy has to hold, it allows Donald to get close. But overall, I don't mind. I think that's a good rep by McKivitz. Even though AD gets close, I still think it's a good rep by McKivitz. So positives, right? Positives. You know, he really had a rough game against the Steelers. But what we did say is there were things that are correctable that he needs to make improvements on. And based on what we've seen on tape, he did it. He did it. So far we know it's a shoulder. We know BA's got a shoulder. We don't know the extent of it. Apparently, if there was practice today, he wouldn't practice. So I don't know. We still don't know. We don't know a whole lot. Kyle Shanahan spoke to a local beat and said that he doesn't have an update yet, which I feel like is a bit of gamesmanship because they want them to prepare for Ayuk as much as possible. But we'll see. But we do got a touchdown right here. Christian McCaffrey taking it in. Dog. It's so nice having Christian McCaffrey on this team. Like, so nice. And this is great blocking up front. This is zone. You got body on bodies everywhere. Trent does a great job. Look at that wall off by Trent. He tried to go for his signature backside move with the chop and snatch. Didn't get it, but he's still able to get in correct position. Creates the wall. You got a double to backer with Banks and Brendel. Banks takes over the defensive tackle. Brendel flows to linebacker. Burford stays on his guy. McKivitz stays on his guy. And then CMC does the rest. Do you see that flash across your screen? It's a good job by Ronnie Bell. Ronnie Bell comes out of nowhere. Whoo! I mean, that's enough. That is enough by Ronnie Bell. Doesn't really get the block, but he gets a piece, and it's enough. And then CMC with a nasty stiff arm. Get down. Get down. Yeah. That's a great stiff arm. Put him right in the turf. There's a hilarious pancake by Ronnie Bell on Akello Witherspoon. It's hilarious. It is so funny. Akello got low-key abused this game. So we got multiple instances of Akello Witherspoon getting abused by San Francisco 49ers players. It's low-key hilarious. So I'm looking forward to getting into that with more detail. But let's keep this thing rolling. So we got our first touchdown. San Francisco 49ers go up. Let's go. We got some Purdy to Debo. Debo had a phenomenal game. Play action. Not too bad. Protection up front. It's a good rep by Burford. McKivitz where he needs to be. Brendel's where he needs to be. I mean, look at Brendel on Donald. That's pretty much one-on-one. Brendel on Donald. Look at Brendel. Let's go. Look at that. Look at that pocket. Nice and easy. Thread the needle. Good job, Brendel. Look at Brendel, man. So inspirational. It's a great job by Brendel. And let's take a look at this again. Just look at the protection. Great sell by everyone. Pitch and catch. Pitch and catch. And now we have Akello getting cooked. Great blocking by everyone up front. Like this team, this offense needs to be teach tape for anyone trying to convince the entire roster of why it's so important to block. And then the finish. Whoo! Akello, what happened? And then he tried to get all tough. Come on, Akello. What who was it? It was I think it was Dante Whitner who called Akello soft. This feels pretty soft. I mean, look at this right here. CMC gets tripped up. Looks like he's damn near about to hyperextend his leg and still plants a kilo on his back. A kilo. Come on, dog. And you're going to get up and start yapping? Any other player hyperextends his knee, let alone regaining his balance and stiff arming him into the turf. That's embarrassing. That's embarrassing, a kilo. Come on, man. Act like you've been there before. This was great. I was in the 11th row. I was probably around right here. So I was on this side of the stadium. I was 11th row up. I'm not going to lie. That stadium was fun. Dude, I swear, man, if you guys have an opportunity to go to a game, especially, of course, 49ers versus Rams, dude, that stadium is insane. Like, it is insane. And it was fun. It had to be 90% 49er fans. It was insane. It was so much fun. That was a home game for sure. For sure, a home game. I had some Rams fans sitting next to me. They were like, "This is insane. This is crazy." They're like, "This is unbelievable how much red is in here." They were joking. They were like, "We should Rams fans should wear red." It's like- they're like, "We should change our colors to red so that we don't so that it doesn't look so bad." It's like, damn. It's like, you ain't lying. It's like, you're not lying. But it was a blast. It really was. It was such an experience. I've never experienced a game like that on the road, completely taken over by 49ers fans. Like, seriously, it was a home game. I've seen, like, I'm trying to think of a good team that showed up against the 49ers at Levi's Stadium. I feel like a lot of Miami fans showed up last year. A lot of Miami fans. Surprising how many Miami fans showed up last year. But again, it wasn't even comparison. It was a home game. It was crazy. All right. So obviously Ayuk is going through it. He's still playing. Looks like he landed on that shoulder. Obviously, it was incomplete, but ouch. Hopefully, Ayuk's all right. It's tough with the short week, too. So we're going to be really on top of Brandon Ayuk's status for this game coming up. Kittle cooks 0. Kittle was low-key in his bag this game. Kittle was cooking. Like, he might not have scored a touchdown or anything, but I mean, as a blocker, I mean, this is a phenomenal route. Get open. Great job. Kittle low-key cooking. Nice protection up front. Nice and easy pitch and catch. So there were some things that I didn't like about the offense. I'll talk about that. I'll show the plays that I didn't like specifically. But for the most part, I really don't have a ton to complain about from this game. I really don't. Nice little end around. Get Kittle out in front. Trent gets 2. Trent gets 53. Then peels off, gets 56. Kittle does a good job getting around to be the lead blocker. I mean, look at these guys downfield. Dude, Ronnie Bell was on the field a ton, and he was blocking his tail off. I mean, look at Bell. Look at Jawan. These guys are blocking their tails off, man. Look at those two. Look at Bell. I like Bell, man. I think this was the game. Like, obviously, we saw what Bell did in the preseason, but Bell definitely earned some respect because he didn't get the ball. He wasn't targeted, but he was out there and he was blocking. Oh, look, there's Ronnie Bell at the bottom of your screen, gets his helmet torn off. For what? Blocking. He fits perfectly. He fits right in. He fits right in with this group. Look at that. One, not happy, huh? Grabs his face mask, throws his helmet off. That's a penalty. Let's see. Where's the oh, I can't see the ref. Ref's out of the view, but typically the ref is right there staring at the line of scrimmage. But that's how you know Bell is doing his job. When you start getting that's Kendricks too. When you start getting these DBs and their feelings like this and they start crying, they don't like it when wide receivers block. They don't like it at all. And they start crying, they start pouting, start swinging. Good. Good. Cry, baby. Cry like the little baby you are. They don't like physical wide receivers. All right. The miss. We got our first deep ball miss of the day. This was heavily discussed, so we will discuss it as well. Break it down, give you my thoughts on it. I mean, I'm not personally tripping that much off these deep ball misses. I know, of course, certain people like really got frustrated or freaked out by it or whatever, but I'm really not stressing that a whole much, and I'll tell you why. We'll break down every single one of them. I'll give you my thought processes behind them. This this is what I talked about in training camp when I talked about Brock Purdy and his deep ball. Again, a whole lot of nothing was made about Brock Purdy's arm strength. That was never the issue with Brock Purdy's deep ball. With Brock Purdy's deep ball all throughout training camp, it was just timing and accuracy. That's all it came down to. Brock, a lot of times, would overthrow his wide receiver. And then the following practices, he would underthrow because I felt like he was just trying to find the timing and the placement. This is where my beer pong analogy came from, was because I don't see a problem. It's not like he's not getting it there. Like, that's a pretty ball. Like, and it's accurate. Like, I like that placement from, like, obviously it's a miss. We're going to say that. We're going to get that. It's a miss. But if we get the timing down just a little bit better, like, it's not like this is an egregious overthrow. It's still on the same track that Ayuk is running on. It's just about 2 yards ahead. But you can see it's on that same track. It's just 2 yards ahead. So you can fix these things This to me is correctable. And also, if you look at Brock in the pocket, he's got to step up and throw. Does that change the trajectory of the ball by having to step up a yard? If he's able to plant it, sit back where he originally hitches at, and let it rip, does that distance change the location of the ball? I mean, it's really not that far of an overthrow. Let's see. I mean, it really needed to be about 1.5, 2 yards shorter. And it cleared. He put it in the right spot. It would have been a walk-in touchdown if you hit Brandon Ayuk in stride. And of course, you want to see Brock Purdy hit that. But there are silver linings. I know a lot of people aren't here for silver linings. People want to see it get done, get it executed. If it's not executed, it's bad. I get that. I understand it. But part of the silver lining is he sees it, he wants it, he takes the shot, and it really wasn't that bad. It really wasn't. It's not that bad of an overthrow. And I'd much rather him overthrow than underthrow because, again, back to the beer pong analogy, he's just trying to find that spot. Trying to hit center cup. That one just went a little too strong. All right. We can fix that. That's not a fatal flaw. And again, I like it's on track. It's on Ayuk's track. Just a little too far ahead. So I'm not too like that one specifically. I'm okay with that miss. Obviously, you don't like misses. You would much rather have a touchdown. You would much rather have it hit and go. So I'm not going to sit here and say that. But again, when you're trying to discern why plays don't work, you're trying to discern, was that a fatal just this guy can't do it? Or do you see opportunities for minor corrections where, yeah, eventually they'll be able to hit that? That's how I view it. Like, same thing like we talked about with Colton last week. Colton just was not great technically, and it messed him up a little bit. And we needed to see some corrections. And he made some corrections and he got better. With that throw to Ayuk, there's correct. You can correct that. You can fix that. It was still online. That's good. Check. It was a good ball, just a little too far out ahead. You can fix that. That's correctable. The process of it was good. The idea, the read. Now we gotta find our timing. We just gotta hit it. That I have faith that can be fixed. So I'm not going to freak out about that. At least that one specifically. That one Brock can hit. So we just got to give it some time. And I also think it's important that this gentleman hasn't even played 16 games in the NFL yet. So he's still got some feeling out to do. He's got a new elbow. I'm going to give Brock a little bit of grace. Just like I would give any other quarterback in the same scenario grace. Do you want to hit it? Yes. Do you want to see that be a touchdown? Yes. But it wasn't a egregious overthrow. Kyle was in his bag with the screen game. Again, what do we got? Juwan Jennings, Ronnie Bell blocking. Great block. Ronnie Bell ends up taking 2. Juwan Jennings peels off and gets a great block on number 4. Just I mean, we're going to continue to highlight these wide receivers that block for the San Francisco 49ers because without these guys, the offense just doesn't work the same. It just doesn't work the same. And I really like the play design as well. I liked Kyle's play design with some of these screens because you're going to get Juwan across the formation, and he instantly is going to become a lead blocker. And then you just flip it out. You hold the threat of Christian McCaffrey getting the ball. Watch the linebackers and how they react. They take 2 steps forward. Perfect. And then you flip it out, and that's why Debo is able to create separation from those linebackers because that little cell of play action with Jawan coming across, and then you get the good blocking on the outside. I like that. Kyle was in his bag with the screen game against the Rams. He brought some stuff out that I was like, "Oh, this looks new. I don't remember seeing this before." So there's a couple things that we got from Brock that looked pretty solid, and Kyle. All right, let's go on. We got a free rusher, CMC out in the flat. That's easy money. That's all day. Again, empty set gets him with forward momentum. Basically, if you were to hike it, if he was flanked to the right. So it's the window dressing, the pre-snap movement for a simple pass to the flat. It's pretty good. This one I got good throw. This isn't the good throw. This throw was nice. So Brock is going to have a free rusher coming up the middle. 37 blitzes. And again, Brock has this knack for understanding these types of pressures. You can see the movement, the slight movement of just resetting his feet is going to buy him enough time with the fade to be able to get this ball across. Now it's a little bit behind Jawan, but I don't mind it because again, he sidesteps and fades to avoid contact. And great catch by Jawan. Again, you're going to get a good look. The change within the pocket. See how he changes his location. Rotates off that front foot. That rotation kind of pulls the ball to the back shoulder. But again, great adjustment. Great adjustment by Jawan to get that ball. That was nice. This is just a miscommunication. I don't know they had a couple of these, but you can see Brock is telling them something right here. He's telling them something. You see that? They're communicating right here. And obviously something was missed. So I don't know what it was, but you can see they're communicating pre-snap. They didn't get the right communication. I don't know if they had double slants going because as you can see, you got double slants on the right side of the field. So maybe I'm assuming Brock thought he was getting double slants because you get the nickel defender drive on Jawan. So I don't know. I don't know what the thought is, but it's definitely miscommunication. And again, correctable, fixable. Move on to the next play. Again, we've heard a lot about the deep ball misses, but this is a great deep ball. I'm not sure I've seen anyone talk about this play yet. And this is a deep ball with pressure in his face. And if you don't get pass interference, that's probably a catch. And that's a great throw. Having to throw off his back foot with pressure in his face. That's a good deep ball. I mean, again, taking the shot, like I like that placement. Because let's say Kendrick gets his head around to the right, Debo would be able to, like, if Kendrick looks back for the ball, this is probably a touchdown. But because he's a doofus and doesn't turn his head around, he gets the penalty and the 49ers get the ball on the 1. So that's why we know people are going to overreact to misses, but they don't know how to contextualize the misses with the non-misses. Like how, we saw the Ayuk one. Okay, we missed that one, but this is a good throw. I love this throw. And Kendrick is a doofus. He doesn't turn his head around, and he gets a penalty. This is a great placement on that football. Now, this sequence was a little bit scary, but also shows kind of the maturity of Brock in this situation. Because if we look at the timestamp, there's 11 seconds, right? It's 1st and 1 on the 1, 11 seconds. You have to be cognizant of the clock. So he can't stand back here like a statue and create and run around. He has to get the ball out very quickly if it doesn't work out. And he has to get this ball out of bounds if it's not there. And as you can see, the defense basically commits 4. It's pretty much 3, but almost 4 to George Kittle. And you end up getting a penalty on Ayuk, which keeps the ball right on the 1. But again, doesn't have it. All right, just throw it away. Just throw it away. Okay, now we got 1st and 1 with 6 seconds. Now, personally, I was screaming like, why are we empty set? If you had a camera on me in the stadium, I was like, what are we doing? I was like, why are we going empty set from the 1? I was like, I was yelling, sneak it. I was like, why aren't we sneaking? Because that's what I wanted. I was like, this is quarterback sneak territory. I was like, why are we empty set? I was tripping out. I was like, what are we doing, Kyle? Now, again, kudos to Brock. They didn't get it right away, so he just gets this thing out of bounds. And they got 1 second left. Oh my gosh, if they ran out of time in this scenario, we would be having a much different conversation than we are right now. Much different conversation. But thank goodness Brock got this ball out when he did. They get 5 seconds off the clock. And then, This is just, I don't know why you don't have the A gaps completely clogged. I would be on full on sneak alert. Uh, they they um they definitely left the sneak wide open here and plow right through. And Brock gets a touchdown. He's hyped. Love to see it. But I would have loved to see this the play before. I'm not gonna lie. I was stressing out. Kyle, please don't stress me out like that. Please don't stress me out like that, Kyle. Because if they if they ran out of time, I would have been. And shout out to Kyle. Was this fourth? No, it was. They had 1 second left. If we would have ran out of time, I would have been tripping. So good job, Brock. Kyle gave me a heart attack. I wanted the sneak with 6 seconds. Now Kyle looks like a genius because now they don't have to kick off or do any of that, right? Oh, it's all part of the plan. We wanted the ball with 1 second left. It's all part of the plan, right? Thank God it worked. Because my goodness, I was like, what are we doing? I was like, why are we empty set with 6 seconds left on the one? We got a little bit of fumble Rooski here. This to me just looked like Brock wasn't ready for it. And what tells me that Brock wasn't ready for is watch Trent, Banks, and McKivitz. They don't move. But if you look at the timing of Debo, so I don't know. I don't know who it's on because you got half the offensive linemen standing still. CMC doesn't move, but Debo, yeah, I don't know. I don't know who that was on. I'm going to go ahead and say it's on the entire offense. Every single one of them. All 11 are responsible for that missed snap. Whatever. That looked like a straight up communication issue. Again, correctable, fixable. This one, okay, we got the other deep ball. Again, I absolutely would have loved to see this get hit, but I really don't mind the process of it. I really don't mind it all that much. Obviously, yes, we want to hit these passes. We're missing big opportunities here, right? But again, he holds off the safety, eyes are to the right, kind of resets. There's some junk in the pocket. Looks like he gets his toe stepped on. Lets it rip. And just out. Oh. Again, like I'm not seeing fatal flaws here, right? With these deep balls. Like anyone freaking out over this, like I can understand being upset in real time and missing out on these opportunities, right? But I'm not seeing fatal flaws here. Like the accuracy is pretty damn on point. It's on track. Just a little too much. Just a little too much. I'm not going to freak out about that. That to me isn't a fatal flaw. That to me is something that you can correct. You can correct this. You can get that down a little bit more. And again, he kind of has to rise up a little bit with the junk in front of him. Do you want to hit it? Of course. But it's also not a fatal flaw. For the most part, you look at the operation, the process of it, it's not fatal. So really, I'm not tripping off of it. Now, if we go 4 weeks in a row of Brock sailing every single deep ball, we'll have a different conversation. But as it stands right now, I don't see anything that we need to worry about. They're still getting their rhythm. I there's a reason why I say the first 4 weeks of the season is a glorified preseason for all the starters. I mean, these guys are still trying to figure out their timing. They're still trying to iron out the kinks. And the 49ers are 2-0 under this period. But the first 4 weeks to me is the new preseason for the starters. They're trying to figure things out. They're trying to gel. They're trying to get timing down, all that type of stuff. Burford oversets a little bit here. You can see he's even. He's even with Donald. It's a slight overset. It's not a ton. But because of that, Donald sees it, throws a swipe, gets by him. Brendel does a good job of getting his guy and then being able to pick up Donald as well. Pitch and catch. Pitch and catch. This one, we got a play action to Kittle. Great sell. Great sell by the entire offense to sell pitch. The whole offensive line blocks down. It's a naked boot. You get Kittle screaming across formation. Not bad. Not bad at all. All right, we got some good O-line stuff coming up. Trent Williams went headhunting. I think it is this next play coming up. So watch Trent Williams on this one. Boom. I would hate to be a defensive back who probably weighs about 185 pounds soaking wet and having Trent Williams running at you full speed. Woo! Bang. Ouch. Ouch. Trent decleating defensive backs. All right, this one we have Purdy missing Debo. This one hurt. I would say this one we gotta find the disconnect here. Is it Brock Purdy being inaccurate, or are we not on the right angle or anticipated angle? So based on how Debo's running this route, he's kind of coming across the field. The way Brock throws this is if he's going vertically. So you can see here how Debo's like cutting across, and then once he locates the ball, he has to get more north south. So there's a misread somewhere. Whether again, I don't know who, like, because Debo looks pretty vertical here. You see how he kind of drifts? See how he's kind of at the top of the numbers and he kind of drifts towards the hash? You see that? See that drift right here? So that could be enough to be more on Debo than it is on Brock. Because if Brock is throwing on this track right here, where he expects Debo to be running more vertical than kind of drifting inside, that is enough. And again, it's really not that much of an egregious overthrow. Same concept as we've been talking about all day. So, correctable, fixable. You want to see it, you want to hit it, you want to get it, you want this to be a walk-in touchdown. But it could be on either one of them. See the angle from Debo versus the angle that Purdy threw. If Debo stays vertical from this point, he might have ran under it. But also, too, if Purdy put a little bit more air under it, I would say that's one thing he could have done. He could have put a little bit more air under this to allow an adjustment. But again, still not fatal. It's an incomplete ball, but it's not a bad ball. It's not just like this is terrible. It's not. It's you can literally see that it could have just been an angle issue. That's pretty much what it is. It's the angle. But who's responsible for the angle? Is it Debo? Is it Brock? Could be either one. Okay. So, right, everyone's freaking out about the deep balls. All right. He keeps going. We got play action here. Great throw to Debo, by the way. Moves the pocket. His ability to not get the ball hit and throw around this defender. Burford gives up his leverage. Colton tries to help out as best he can. He does a good enough job to move him out of the throwing lane. Debo makes something out of nothing. It's pretty good. Pretty good. But then we're going to get Debo. We're going to get Brock going deep. Look at that. This is perfect ball placement. Perfect ball placement. So again, after the way we've watched the previous overthrows, everything that we've seen, this is a perfectly placed ball. One, he doesn't shy away from going deep again. This is a 50-50 ball put in the perfect spot. That's tight coverage. It really is. But he trusts his guy, puts it out there, and that is a phenomenal pitch and catch. Again, the positives are he's missed Debo, Juwan, and Ayuk, and he's still going deep. Still, that's a positive, and he connects. So again, more reasons why I am less concerned about Brock Purdy not being able to hit some of these guys deep. This one, again, Kittle is in his bag. Watch Kittle. 2. Let's go, Kittle. Get him down. Pancake. And then we got, so now we're getting to some funny stuff. We got a couple plays left. We're getting close to the end. Smash that like button if you haven't already. But we got there's multiple hilarious plays coming up here at the end as the San Francisco 49ers start to put this thing away. Also, we got something that I didn't love, the play calling sequence. And I feel like the 49ers got lucky in a certain instance. So I'm going to talk about what I didn't like, particularly about this play calling sequence. But first, we're going to have some fun with the touchdown. All right. First thing I want to point out about this touchdown is the play design. I think the play design is absolutely phenomenal. I'm not sure I've seen this particular screen called like this from Kyle Shanahan. This feels new to me. But if you look at it, look how much of a quick hitter. So there are trips left in bunch formation out of eye, and it's instantly pop right out to Debo. Jennings and Kittle out in front. You get a beautiful double. Jennings getting that shoulder to allow Kittle to take over, and then getting 2. Debo makes that guy miss. But the play design, again, quick hitter, set up with blockers out in front, and then Debo just does the rest. Fantastic. Fantastic. And if you want to have some fun, watch George Kittle at the end. Watch George. George likes it. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Let's go. Punch the air. Look at George over here on the ground, just watching the touchdown, enjoying it, fist pumping. I like it. I like it. I like all of it. All of it is good. So that's why, like, if this game is the 49ers offense's floor, then they're going to be in good shape. They really are. If this is the floor for this team, then all right, I will take that floor. I've seen worse. All right, look at Akillo get cooked by Debo. Whoop! Stiff armed him out of bounds. That's disrespectful, Debo. Akillo's been getting disrespected all game. That's not nice. Have some more respect for your fellow teammate, Akillo Witherspoon. That's not nice. True. Said, get off me. Sheesh. Nice work. Nice work. All right. Now, I'm going to show you this sequence. I didn't like this sequence. And even watching it, I didn't like it in person. And then watching it back, I didn't like it even more. All right. So look, the 49ers are up 7 points in the fourth quarter, 6:30 left on the clock, 2nd and 2, ball on the 33. 49ers needed a first down. They needed to milk this clock. They needed to go on a game-winning drive, and you're sitting at 2nd and 2. And again, like, why are we getting cute? That's how I perceive this. It's like, and the reason why I call it cute is instead of handing the ball off to Christian McCaffrey, the best running back in the NFL, we're going to use Christian McCaffrey to block a edge player and expect that to work. Remember Byron Young? We like Byron Young. He's a really good rookie, number 0. He's going to be a really good rookie in the NFL. And we have Christian McCaffrey not running the football, no, being one of the crucial blocks on the play against a very big, very physical edge player. I don't love that. I don't love that. I really don't. To me, and it's like they're attacking the edge, okay, but I don't like using CMC as a blocker for an edge player. Okay. Now it's 3rd and 3. You lost a yard. You went backwards. And again, you're only down by 7. It's not like a 2-score lead. What are we going to do here? Okay, we're going to pass it. So not only do we not complete the pass, we stopped the clock. I didn't like this. I was in the stands. I'm like, what are we doing? Why aren't we running the football up the middle, getting 2 yards, so we can run clock, get a first down, and keep this drive alive? Now, this was an uncharacteristic miss by Brock. I'm not sure I've seen Brock miss an in-breaking route like this in a while. Now, theoretically, it's open. Debo's open. We get it. We hit this, okay. We move the chains. We keep going. But we decide to move the ball through the air. It's a miss, and we get Brock leveled. Why? Why? This is so unnecessary to me in so many different ways. Like, look at how Brock gets clocked. Unblocked. Byron Young. Why? Like I said, I hated it in real time. I hated it way more after watching it on tape. I did not like this. I did not like it. Kyle, we know you watch. We know you watch the stream. Sometimes just doing what you know you need to do. Just run it up the middle between the tackles. Oh, it's 2nd and 2. Okay, we tried to attack the edge and we try to block an edge with Christian McCaffrey. Okay, it doesn't work. We lose a yard. Okay, now we're going to throw it, get Brock killed, stop the clock, punt the ball. Kyle, I love you, bro. You were doing phenomenal all game. I love some of the play designs you're pulling out. I loved pretty much everything that you had cooking all day, except, the little scare on the goal line. It scared me a little bit there. This stuff's like, just feels like we overthink it sometimes. And again, it's a missed throw. It's schemed open. Debo's open. But this is what happens when we take, it would have been a lot easier just to hand the ball off and use the best running back in the world to get 2 yards and keep the clock rolling, not stop the clock and get Brock obliterated. You know, you see what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I had these 2 plays stress me out. And again, we're only down by 7 with a ton of time left, and Brock got clocked. Don't love it. I don't. I love Kyle. I thought Kyle was in his bag for the most part all game, but boy, I didn't love that. I did not love that at all. Oh, look, we ran the football and they got more than 2 yards with Christian McCaffrey. Like, come on, man. Sometimes sometimes the like obvious play is the right play. And I love Kyle. If he's watching this, he's probably like, this guy doesn't know jack. I love you, Kyle. Don't hate me. Don't hate me, Kyle. This one is hilarious. Okay, we are going to watch Bell and Akello. Let's go, Bell. Bell might have like solidified my love for him with this play. Pancaking Akello, jumping on top of him, not getting off, forcing Akello to throw him. Yeah, Bell, you're part of the crew. You're part of the crew. I love this. Like this straight pancake. He didn't trip. Akello didn't trip at all. Look at his ankle. He did like the Michael Jackson. He got up on his toes. Bell just puts him in the turf, jumps on top of him, doesn't get up. Akello's got to throw him. Yeah, Bell, we like you. Good job, Bell. I love that. Akello, man, sucks to be you, man. He got bullied big time. This just felt like a miscommunication. I think, I don't know, is this an option route? I don't know why it's a miscommunication. I think Purdy was expecting CMC to break out, but based on where Debo is, it makes more sense for this to be a Texas, not a choice. So I feel like, I don't know. I don't know what the issue is there, but there's definitely miscommunication. And yeah, I don't know. They sent the house. They sent 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wait, no, I don't even think I counted all of them correctly. So there must be a hot call. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So they rush 7. They rush 7 on 5. So CMC's the hot receiver. So I think the idea is correct of going to CMC, but there's a miscommunication on what's expected. Probably should have been a touchdown. So, I mean, to me, I assume Purdy thinks CMC's breaking out. Instead, CMC breaks in. So and then they settle for 3 here and then just run it out. Really, the last play that we got is worth showing is Juwan Jennings absolutely destroying the linebacker. Boink! Cooked him. I don't know. I think this is clean to me. I guess I don't know the rules of what a crackback block is, but to me, this looks like a linebacker not paying attention and runs straight into Jawan Jennings. That's a good block to me. But again, I'm not a rules expert either. But they didn't like that. Keep your head on a swivel, 56. You won't get rocked. Whew. Won't get rocked. That to me is on 56 more than anyone else. So overall, like I said, there were definitely things that weren't great about this game. I don't think this was a perfect game by any stretch of the imagination. But all that being said, they still scored 30 points. They still scored 30 points. They beat the Rams, who kudos to Matt Stafford. I think that was the best I've ever seen Stafford play against the 49ers. And again, we'll probably have we'll have some questions about the defense as well and about the formations and stuff like that. The off coverage. And I mean, Stafford just picked apart the soft zone. He just picked us apart. I mean, what? Puka Nacua had 15 receptions for like 150 yards. Like, they picked us apart on the defensive side. Obviously, they had to make some adjustments down the stretch, and we had some big time turnovers that ended up being the difference in the game. But this game really could have went either way. The turnovers ended up being the difference. But I think this game, there's a lot to learn from this game. That's what this feels like. This feels like there's plenty to learn from this one. Take inventory on, log what worked, log what didn't work, certain situations. And ultimately, man, I think that, there's room for improvement. So with the 49ers scoring 30 points, there's room for improvement. That's a good sign to me. So we got the Giants on a short week. Be interesting to see if we get Brandon Ayuk or not. But again, I think it's going to be kind of one of these similar games. It's going to be how well do they execute their game plan and all that type of stuff. Obviously, no Saquon Barkley. That's a huge loss for them. So we'll see how it goes. But hey, pretty much we're turning the page. It's technically Giants week because the 49ers play the Giants at the home opener at Levi's Stadium on Thursday, prime time. So we'll see what the quick turnaround looks like. So a win is a win. Wasn't perfect. Plenty to learn from. Not a lot of fatal issues on the offensive side of the football. So we'll see. We'll ultimately see what happens as this team continues to gel. Like I said, Colton played a lot better. So I'm going to say this, and I'm not promoting this, but I won't be surprised if we start seeing Burford splitting reps again. I would not be surprised to see Burford get the start against the Giants, but if we see Jonathan Feliciano like second or third series and we see that split rep situation go again, I won't be surprised. Burford had a rough game, for sure. And I think he took a step backwards this week where McKivitz took a step forward. So, I mean, Burford is, again, supremely talented. Very, very, he's like a prototypical guard from a build standpoint. And I don't want to see Burford. I want to see Burford succeed. I want to see Burford. I want Burford to be good. But I won't be surprised if we see a split rep thing like we saw with skill last year. So we'll see. We'll see. And again, Jason says, I don't know, Chris told Spence it was his job. Of course, but it's also football. And if you don't perform, you lose your job. I'm not saying Burford is losing his job. I would say if we see a split, that means they're questioning that ability. And they want to see if they split, if that is like the jolt or the shock to the system for him that maybe focuses him up a little bit more, maybe puts him in a better position to understand the urgency that's in front of him. Splitting isn't necessarily he's lost his job. It's basically, well, we're looking at it and we want to see how you respond. So him splitting wouldn't be a loss of the starting job. It would just be we are looking at the potential to see who performs better, because we'll see. So what I'm going to be looking for next week is Burford. I think Colton improved. Colton got better. Burford took a step back. Now I'm going to look for Burford to take a step forward. And that's the hope. That's what I want. I don't want Burford to get benched. I don't want Burford to split. I want Burford to take the step forward and for them to feel confident with his ability to be able to be a long-time starter for the 49ers. That's what we want. We don't want Burford to not pan out. We want Burford to pan out. So I'm not saying that he's in jeopardy of none of that. I'm just saying if I had to put my O-line coach hat on, those would be things that maybe I would be thinking about. We'll see. Doesn't mean they do it. Just a thought I have. So we'll see ultimately when it's all said and done. But not bad. 49ers get the W, and they look forward to playing the Giants next week. So we'll see. But shout out for everyone tapping in. Appreciate you guys, as always, for checking in on the film breakdowns. Always fun. I'm not going to lie, tired today. Peter always coming in with cookies at the right time. He knows. He always knows when the wrap-up begins. Definitely tired today. Try to catch up on some sleep. And we're going to get ready. It's a short week. 49ers, Giants on Thursday. We got football going right now. I want to watch that game, so we'll see. But shout out to everyone, as always. Grab your cookies if you stayed the whole time. Smash the like button if you haven't already. Appreciate y'all. I'm out of here. Smash that like button if you haven't already. Love to see it.